Welcome back to Power Breakfast. Time for us to talk reflexology next. And just in case you don't know too much about that, it's about wellness. And it's the idea that certain reflex points in your feet and hands, once pressure is applied to those points, actually correspond to different body organs and systems that affect your health. I've just found out about reflexology recently, and thankfully we have an expert here to tell us a little bit more. So Mark, welcome to Power Breakfast.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
How on earth did you get into reflexology?
First of all, I started as a hairdresser some time back, like 7 years ago. From that I did beauty, and then after beauty I got a teacher from America who came and taught us holistic therapy. Through holistic therapy, he taught us a lot of therapies, but I majored mostly in something called reflexology and myotherapy, which is quote-unquote sports therapy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is this the same thing as zone therapy?
Yes, it is the same thing, because it actually deals with energy lines and the meridian lines of the body. Usually the body has something we call pressure points. So these pressure points, when they become tight, they have to be loosened, and those loosening is now what we transpire on the zone therapy to loosen the pressure points. Okay,
and just in case you're watching and wondering what's happening here, this is Kezia. She's our volunteer, so I think that you'll be showing us all the different pressure points on her feet, and that's why you have her feet exposed there. But let's talk a little bit more about reflexology, because I was doing some research, and I mean, officially within the medical community, it has not been established as, you know, a form of therapy that actually cures or diagnoses. You know, there are people who believe in it, and there are people who believe it's kind of just all in the mind. So how do you respond to that? Okay.
Literally, reflexology is all about alternative therapy. When it comes to doctors, it's about curative medicine. So usually alternative therapies, you usually get it mostly from the eastern center of the world, and usually people are quite critic when it comes to the eastern kind of healing, because it's all holistic. We believe in the body being one as whole, and we believe that one part of an organ will affect each and every part of the body. So it has to be a one-way thing, which is quite holistic.
Now, I've also heard it described as a complementary health therapy. So sort of like in addition to you going to see a doctor and having this diagnosis, this is also something you can do in addition to that. Would you agree?
Yes, I would, because of one factor. The feet, or the sole of the feet, has over 200,000 nerve endings. So usually these nerve endings pass through the sole of the feet. They go up to the brain, because usually we are like quote-unquote 98% water. So everything that is on the body is usually like chemicals and water, which usually have to vibrate. And that vibration is what we usually call the nervous stimulation of the feet. So that's why I can say, quote-unquote, it might be of health. Yes.
So, you know, just to sort of get a little bit more clarity here, by you looking at Kezia's feet and applying pressure at certain points, are you able to tell what is wrong with her? Are you able to, I mean, what are you able to do?
Usually what we feel is that you feel tights and knots around certain specific areas when you apply pressure, because there are certain specific areas when you touch with pressure, then it has to release, or you feel that it has been connected to that specific area that you usually say on the chart area on the reflexology. So yes, you might feel something, but you cannot say that maybe it's a migraine. You cannot say that maybe it is, you cannot really specifically say, but maybe if she comes with a condition, let's say a migraine, and maybe I touch the reflex points for the migraine. If she feels the release, then we know that that's the amount of pressure that, or that's the specific area where the migraine was having a problem.
So it's not like you're touching her feet and curing her kidney. Like that's not what this is about. Because there are people who also, you know, think of this as a form of massage. How would you differentiate?
Well, basically, people say it might be a form of massage. Okay, but yes. All in all, it's just an alternative way of medicine. We're looking at it in a way of medicine rather than in a way of massage. But in massage, it helps to relax or to release pressure, which usually builds around the soles of the feet. Yeah.
The stresses of daily life have been contributed to many different disorders, including anxiety and depression and migraines, like you're talking about. And there are people who have said that this form of therapy will reduce those sort of stresses if you have just a lot of anxiety and pressures going on within yourself. So I think now it's time for us to get practical. You brought some charts with you.
Yes.
So maybe you can take us through those. Just hold that up to the camera and we can be able to see what types of zones we have in our feet. So explain that.
Okay, now this one, it's foot reflexology. Foot reflexology believes that the whole body system is connected on the sole of the feet, and that each and every organ is connected to a specific part of the feet. So if I press, for example, an area around the lung, I might be helping the client to release the pain that is usually around the lung area. For example, if it is the head, if she gets a migraine, for example, the area around the brain, if I press it quite well, it might release the kind of pressures around the brain. And then also we have something we call ear reflexology.
Right.
Ear reflexology is more or less the same, but this is a bit internal and quite practical. You have to study a lot because it's a bit different from what the legs looks like, because this is a different design because it's on the ear. But the thing is that we all look at the nerve endings. That's where the most important thing when it comes to zone therapy is all about, the nerve ending. And we have also the face reflexology.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the face usually say if you get stress is on the thought. Stress is not on the muscle. So the more stress you accumulate on your face or around the area on your face, usually you get something we call lactic acid, which affects the way the chemicals respond in the brain. So if you touch specific areas around the face, you are trying to release these areas by decreasing the acidic acid which usually accumulates around the face, and then also you are allowing the circulation of blood.
So what am I talking about here? If you do face reflexology on me, will I look younger? I mean, will you take away my wrinkles and what happens?
Per se, it might be so, per se, but usually I would say it's an element of doubt. If you try it, you might like it, because I definitely know that most of the clients that I do face reflexology, they really feel good, and after some time they get a lot of sleep, and they tell me that their energy levels are usually changed.
Yeah, I've heard about that actually your sleep pattern is affected and just how much energy you have.
Exactly.
Kezia, are you okay?
Yeah.
You're good?
Yeah.
Have you done this before?
No.
You have not done this before. First time for everything. Before we start, working on Kezia's feet there, how many sessions does one need to start seeing change, in your opinion?
Usually it depends with, quote unquote, I would say the energy levels of a person, because when a client comes, the first thing that we look at is the psychological stress of that person. You first of all have to have a session with the client, talk to them, understand their problem, so that you know, even if reflexology wouldn't work, might I send this person to another maybe therapist, maybe a massage therapist, a chiropractor, for example, a physiotherapist, or just any person who can really help the person. So you first of all have to look at the stress level of this person to help this person.
Okay, so let's look at what Kezia has going on in her life. So maybe you can just tell us how this, if I were to come to see you for the very first time, what's the process?
Usually, first of all, it's consultation. As I've said, I have to look at you, I have to talk to you, and I have to understand your energy levels. So after that, I have to look at, might I use oil, because there's a time you can use oil, might I use only finger pressure, might I use lotion, or might I even scent the room to at least change the mood of the treatment.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So maybe you can go ahead and begin and just show us a demonstration of how this actually works.
Okay. So, for example, as I've said, the sole of the feet has over 200,000 nerve endings. So with all these nerve endings, all of them go up to the brain because of something we call the zone therapy. Zone therapy believes in lines, energy lines that are connected up to the brain. So as I press even one point, it usually affects the whole area because it is chemicals that have to pass through as I'm releasing the pressure around the client's problem.
Okay.
So, for example, if Kezia has a problem with her lungs, I would come and hold somewhere like that here. So usually, anatomically, this is a metatarsal and a tarsal. So around the tarsal and the metatarsal, anatomically, there's usually joints around them. When these joints usually tighten, the feet themselves don't allow blood to pass through. So if I hold, for example, around that point where the lung is, I'm trying to release pressure that goes straight up to the lungs and starts to release the pressure that has been holding everywhere the body.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So just by looking at her feet, I mean, is there anything that's calling out at you, any problem areas that you're seeing?
No. So usually what we have to do first is to first of all do a lot of pressure point first. As you do the pressure points, it's now when you start to feel where the issues are. So like for example, if I would hold there, I would know like Kezia has a problem around her shoulders. She gets maybe pain, her tension. The kind of work she does is mostly with her hands. So what I do is I press a bit, and as I press, I allow pressure to enter for like 7 seconds, and then I release. As I release...
Did you feel anything, Kezia? Yeah. Are your shoulders feeling better?
Yeah, so as I do that, the chemicals are sent. Quote unquote, we call it the endorphin hormones, the good feeling hormone. That is what now releases the effect, the chemical effect to the shoulder area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Now there's also hand reflexology, right? So out of the ear, the hand, the feet, which one do you, the face, what's your specialty?
I would say all of them are my specialty. Yeah, all of them are my specialty, and then also I do a bit of manipulation around them to allow the process of maybe blood to go from the sole of the feet to maybe around that point of the feet. And then also to the hand you have to release, because as you release mostly here, you also have to remember that this part has to allow blood to flow. Yeah, also into the face you have to release to the neck, because also the neck has to be the pressure points to the neck are affected to the face.
Now I just want to ask Kezia, as she's lying there, do you have any specific issues that you would like to be looked at? Do you have headaches? Do you have tension anywhere? Do you have stress, anxiety, any of that you would like for us to take a look at? Headaches, she said. Okay,
so with headaches, you usually go, for example, to the first toe. We say that the first toe is connected directly to your brain because the body has something called ligaments. These ligaments are connected to the nervous system. So any receiving end or any communication from the brain to the body usually happens through the ligaments. So if I press maybe around that ending of the ligament, then I'm releasing, as I believe I'm releasing pressure from the brain, because it means that in her brain she has a lot of maybe stress or tension. So as you press slowly by slowly, you enter pressure a bit by bit. You give it like 7 seconds.
And is this performed on both feet, or?
Yes.
Okay,
it is
so
performed on both feet. So like you find like one foot maybe with a problem like migraine can take around 10 minutes. So and then you go to the next foot around 10 minutes. By the time you're finishing, maybe if you had put maybe an aroma, a scented oil, it will actually have effect on the feet. And then also would say that even if you put, for example, onion or any oil that you want it to enter into the sole of the feet, actually you'd feel the effect.
Did you say onion?
You can even put onion.
Why are you putting onion on your
Sometimes when people sweat, they put onions to release the bacteria, which is usually around the sole of the feet.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting stuff. You can have a seat, I guess. I was just wondering, since I'm sure there's a lot of ladies watching who get regular pedicures, does that affect how you the energy levels? I mean, if I've just gone for a pedicure yesterday, am I going to have a better reflexology session tomorrow?
How would I say? Well, it depends with, as a therapist, I believe it depends with you as yourself. Your personality, whatever you understand, the kind of knowledge you know is what would affect even the touch that you give your client. You can do a pedicure and be a reflexologist at the same time. That is still earning money because you understand how the sole of the feet is designed, you know where the pressure points are, and you can now, as you give your client a good touch, then even as she leaves, she feels that she has done everything she wanted to do.
What is your typical client? Male, female, age, does that matter?
No, it doesn't. For me, I believe in a holistic way of seeing things. I believe a person as a person, and every person has his own problems, and every person has to be solved problems on different occasions. Yes.
Now, this form of therapy is not as popular in Kenya. I wouldn't, because I hadn't even heard that this is happening. So what has been the response from people who you try and, because you have to kind of convince someone that this is actually a real thing, and you know, because this is not a, like you said, it's what, Eastern medicine? It's not African.
Yes.
So it's a bit foreign to us. So what has been the response from potential clients for you?
First problem we have with people around is that they don't want to read because everything is in the internet. According to research, reflexology actually is quite known in Kenya, and there are a lot of reflexologists in Kenya. The problem is maybe finding the best person or the best therapist might be the issue, but I cannot say that reflexology is not known. Reflexology is quite known.
To the average Kenyan, you think the average Kenyan knows about reflexology?
To the average Kenyan, no. And it's something that I would pray maybe government or any person who is willing to really check on it, to maybe understand what reflexology is all about. Like right now, for example, sorry to say, like the doctors, how the doctors are on strike, would maybe reflexology be something that would maybe help in like decreasing pain for people like with arthritis, people who have joint issues. And
do you typically get people who have been to, you know, seek medical help? Dawa has just idea, so now let me try something different. Do you get a lot of those? A lot of my clientele are that.
So
people who are dealing with what types of diseases?
Joint pains, muscle pain, sometimes other, when it comes to regulation of diabetes, sometimes because of the pressure points around the pancreatic area. Also, a lot of ailments, actually, a lot of ailments, but we wouldn't come up and say that it is the right cure. It's just something under research, and people are like doing it because it's been there for like 5,000, 2,000 years. Yeah, it's something that has been there for a very long period of time.
But yet the research isn't there.
Yeah, that's the problem.
So in terms of your, because you said you started off in beauty and hair and then finally moved. What has been the biggest shift for you, becoming a reflexologist as opposed to just a beauty therapist?
One of the biggest issues with this kind of work is trust. It's something practical, it's something that is seen, it's something that is done, it's something that is practiced, but many people haven't yet given it the thought of it. They think, well, reflexology maybe, it's just a massage anyway, you know, it's just a massage.
Do you have people who come in, because I think if I was to come in for a session, I'd be scared that you'd find diseases I didn't know I had. Someone might be scared, I don't really want to know what's wrong with me. Do you find that you get that type of reaction
as well? The thing is, we are not doctors, and I'm not a doctor, if I would say. I'm just a therapist. And as a therapist, I work only holistically. I look at my patients in a holistical way, and I want to understand what problem they might be having. So I appreciate doctors. I love doctors a lot, and I love the kind of work they do. Maybe the only thing I would say is we need to understand between a doctor and a therapist, so that you don't come and maybe come with a very big issue and expect that this guy is the one who's going to do it. But you didn't look at the right avenues. You didn't go to the doctor. You didn't go for a consultation. You just want things to happen for you, which really it can't happen. Because the body is a complicated yet simple thing to understand.
Exactly, and that might be why some people are maybe skeptical, because you don't want to do something that's going to cause you harm to your health. In the long run. But where do you see yourself in a couple of years? I mean, you're saying that Kenyans already know about reflexology. So are you good where you are right now? Or are you still hoping to?
I'm growing. That's the biggest challenge that I've had in life is maturity, and that's where I'm heading. Yeah, my happiness is to see everybody well, because that's my idea, wellness, and I'm happy to see everybody like being happy. That's the most simple thing in life, because if everybody is happy, it means that work can be done in a very easier way.
Do you also advise clients on diet and when you speak about holistic health, there's a lot of issues that go into that, nutrition and all that. Do you also advise on?
Yes, I have to, if a client comes and wishes that I give him a plan, a dietary plan, I prefer first of all doing a research. If maybe they have diabetes, blood pressure, things like that, I look at first of all what I can change through what they eat, and then what I can do as a therapist to make them whole as one.
Okay. So maybe just you can talk to Kenyans out there who've not tried this form of therapy. They might be suffering from various pain or like you're saying, anxiety, arthritis, all these other things, and thinking that they might want to try an alternative. What would you tell someone who's never been through this process?
Never fear trying anything. Everything is trying. Even when you go to a doctor, you are sick, but the problem is a doctor will give you medicine. But maybe if you tried something else, it could have worked better off than the medicine that you took. So don't ever fear trying if it would help, because benefit is for you as a human whole. We are not looking as a Kenyan, quote unquote. I'm looking as a human whole. Benefit is for you. It's not for me.
And perhaps one other thing that we can speak about, there might be somebody who just watched what you did and say, well, I can do that on myself. Why do I need to go see a therapist? I can look up this chart and,
Actually, this is it's a free-to-do thing. It's not something that it's complicated. As I've said, it's there in the internet right now. Right now, internet is free to every person. There is Wi-Fi connection everywhere. So rather than you sitting down in Coffee Java reading about somebody's Facebook, WhatsApp, and what, you can look at a chart, or maybe reflexology, study what is reflexology. Why is it that my muscle is hurting? Would reflexology maybe help, and things like that? Where should I press? If I'm on my own, where should I press? Maybe to release the pressure that has been disturbing you.
And where is your practice? Or how is it that people watching can get a hold of you to maybe consult?
For now, I'm in a gym called the Racing Sports Gym. It's in Parklands. That's where I am based right now, because I'm also a myotherapist. So I usually look at body mechanics and a bit on now the alternative part of healing. So for now, I'm at the Racing Sports Gym.
Okay.
It's in Parklands.
All right. And on social media, is there a way that people can get in touch with you online?
Myotherapy and Physiotherapy Kenya.
Okay.
Yes, it's on Facebook.
All right.
Yes.
Well, you've definitely educated me, and I'm sure you've educated quite a number of people watching. I don't know how Kezia is feeling about her headaches. We'll quiz her on that later. But it's been called complementary health therapy, reflexology. I've heard that it can bring healing power, holistic well-being, if you will. I'm going to leave you with a couple of the charts that we've been looking at of how applying pressure to various zones of your hands, your feet, your face, or your ears can actually take away pain, anxiety, and bring about healing. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, too.